Hello and welcome everyone to the Getting Started with Top Producer CRM Introduction Training Session. My name is Jason Sheard and I'll be your instructor today. So in today's session, I'm going to be telling you guys how Top Producer CRM is going to help you manage the entire life cycle of your lead. To do this, I want to start out by setting the stage by talking about the real estate industry and some stats that highlight how important a CRM like Top Producer can be for you to use. We're then going to take a look at how you can log into Top Producer on your computer and get everything set up very easily with our simple setup wizard, as well as talking about setting up lead integration to have all your leads funnel into Top Producer. Finally, we're going to take a look at how to log into Top Producer mobile on your smartphone, which is a quick light version of the program that you can use to access your database no matter where you are. And then after that, if you're interested in learning more, I'll tell you about our next steps class that you can sign up for. So I want to start with a little bit of statistics to think about. So first of all, where does your average annual commission come from? A lot of people think that it's online leads, cold calling, and other new business coming to you that way. And of course, that's a very important segment, and it does make up about 25% of an average realtor's annual commission. But referrals, sphere of influence, and repeat business such as past clients is typically driving around 75% of an average realtor's commission income. So that right there is by far the most important source of business, and mining that business and turning those contacts that you already know into new business opportunities is a really healthy way to grow your business. Breaking this down a little further, you can actually see where realtors are finding their buyer and seller opportunities. So as you can see on my screen here, 58% of buyers are found through their agent's sphere of influence or their past client network. And for sellers, it's 66% found through sphere of influence or past clients. And that's a big part of your business. In addition to where they're finding their agents, you can also see that buyers and sellers are satisfied with the level of service that realtors are providing. So this chart shows that about 90% of buyers would use the same agent again, and 86% of sellers would come back and use the same agent again. And those would be great satisfaction rates for any industry. And it's really something to pat yourselves on the back about, because buyers and sellers generally say they will come back and work with you again after you've closed the transaction. However, what we do see is some concerning emerging trends. And despite what I'd said earlier about satisfaction, when it comes down to it, only 12% of buyers are actually coming back and using their same agent, and only 24% of sellers are coming back to the same agent. So immediately post-sale, 90% of buyers say they want to come back, and 86% of sellers say they want to come back. But when it's time to follow through with that, there's a very significant gap between the people that actually do make good on their promise. So where do you think that gap is coming from? And the answer is not staying in touch, right? If there's no follow-up happening, people aren't going to come back and use you. And why is that? Well, if you're not following up, they're likely going to forget your name. Right? If the real estate industry is on a 5, 10 to 15-year cycle for past clients, they probably aren't going to remember who you are after that amount of time. Another aspect to this is it can be just a little awkward reaching out to someone after 5 to 10 years if you're not keeping in touch on a relatively regular basis. So for example, for myself, if I last spoke to someone 10 years ago, I'm not just going to call them out of the blue. That could be a very awkward conversation. So because of this, you want to reach out as often as you can to stay in touch with these clients and making sure that you're staying top of mind. If you're not staying in touch over that 5 to 15-year cycle, you're not going to win those past clients, you're not going to win the referral business, and you may lose out on your overall sphere of influence and conversion with those leads. So now that you know why this is happening, this gives you an opportunity. So if you can find a way to follow up with your contacts both quickly and easily, as well as over the long term, you're going to increase your repeat and referral rate. And Top Producer CRM is really a solution to a lot of that. So the way I like to think about it is, Top Producer is like the Wikipedia of your contacts. Gives you all of their information at your fingertips, such as contact notes, their phone numbers, address, their contact types, the next call date, and it's accessible across any device, whether it's on your laptop or your smartphone. If you make a change in one, it will appear on the other. And this is because Top Producer is based on the cloud. So any changes you make are automatically going to be available on all devices. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is how to log into Top Producer on the computer and to complete the initial setup wizard. Logging into Top Producer on your computer is a lot like logging into any other website. Top Producer works with all major internet browsers, so whether you prefer to use Google Chrome, Firefox, or even Microsoft Edge, just simply open up your browser and go to the address in the top left of my screen there, which is www.tpcrm.com. Then you'll enter in your username and your password here, and then click on Sign In. Now, if this is the first time that you're logging in, you're going to see the subscriber agreement displayed. So you just need to click the I've read and accept the terms of this agreement radio button there, and then click on Next. This is then going to load the user information screen, which has some additional fields for you to fill in. So it's going to ask you for things like your time zone, birth date, zip code, as well as a secret question and answer. Now, this information is used so if you ever forget your password and if you call our customer care team, they'll be able to assist you with helping you to reset your password after doing a quick security check with this information. In addition, the time zone there at the top is used for appointment reminders as well. Once you've entered your security information, you're going to be presented with the setup wizard, which is a 4-step process. So we're starting off on step 1 here, which is agent info. And this is going to ask you for information like your name and contact details. Now you'll see that your name there isn't able to be changed. If you have a single agent account, you need to call our customer care team and they'll be able to assist you with the change. If you have a partner or a team account, then you'll be able to edit your name at a later time in the My Account section. So what you want to do here is just simply fill in the rest of the fields like designation. You can check which designations you have. If your designation does not appear in this drop-down, just simply click on Modify here in the lower right corner and then click Add to enter in your new designation. Okay, we click Done once we've applied those. And then you type in your company website, and then we get to the agent email field, which is marked with an asterisk. It's the only required field here. So a couple things to note about the email address. One is that Top Producer allows you to send emails out of Top Producer, like mass emails or action plan emails. There is a 1,000 daily limit of emails you can send out. However, any emails you do send will appear they're coming from the address that you type in here. So if you have multiple email addresses, you'd want to enter in the main address that you're using, such as what you have on your business card. In addition to that, you want to be aware that any emails that you send out from Top Producer, when someone replies to that message, it's going to go back to the email address you filled in here, regardless of whether you've got that set up to receive that in Top Producer or not. So I just simply fill in my email address here. Now the next field is agent websites. You put in your website here, and then you're able to enter your phone numbers here under contact methods. Now the next section here is for assigning MLS access to this user. So if you see this drop down, just simply click it and place a check next to any MLSs you have here, and then click on Done. The final part here is to add your photo and your logo, and these will appear on any marketing material or reports that you produce through Top Producer. So just simply click on Add Photo here in the bottom left-hand corner. This will expand this little section here, and then click on Choose File, and it will allow you to browse your computer, select the file, click on Open. You'll see the file name here, such as example_agentphoto.jpg. Then we just simply have to choose what type of photo this is. So in this case, what's being depicted is the agent photo. So click that, and team member is myself, and then we click on Add Photo here. Okay, the photo is going to appear in the bottom left-hand corner. If you hover it, it will make it a little bit larger, and we just repeat the exact same steps for adding the company logo. Then once we've got everything entered in on step 1 here, we click on Next down here at the very bottom, and that's going to take us to step 2 of 4, which is MLS connectivity. Now there's 2 main reasons for setting up MLS connectivity. One is it will allow you to import your listing inventory into Top Producer one at a time. And the second thing is that it will allow you to import comparable listings for a CMA or a buyer presentation. So to set this up is very easy. Just simply click on your MLS. So in my case here, I've got Northwest MLS here. I'll click on that. And then I can see it's expanded and it's asking me for a user ID and a password. Now your screen may be a little bit different. It depends on your MLS as to what type of authentication questions it's going to have. So some MLSs may just have a user ID or username field, and that's fine. Just fill in whatever it's asking for here. Once you fill in your user ID and your password, then it will say set as default MLS. So this is if you have multiple MLSs, in which case you would only just pick whichever one you want to be the default. It'll load that one automatically on any screen you go to, but both MLSs would be accessible. So I'm going to click yes here. And then finally, if I scroll down a little bit, we can see default property type. And I've got single family here in the drop down. If I click the drop down, I have some additional choices like multifamily and farm and ranch and so forth here. So what I want to do is pick the property type that I'm going to be working with most often. Now, all these property types will be accessible. Again, it's just simply which one's going to load automatically when I go to that screen. Okay, so I'm going to pick single family here, and then it's very important that you click Save MLS. So if you don't see that Save button, just make sure you use the scroll bar here on the right-hand side to scroll down. Click on Save MLS, and that'll take the screen back to this viewable mode. And then we click on Next down here at the bottom to proceed to step 3 of 4. So step 3 is for assistant info. Assistants can be set up if you have purchased an additional license. When you have purchased additional licenses, you can then choose as to whether you want to set them up as an assistant or an agent. Now, a couple of the main differences between an agent and an assistant are that an assistant cannot market under their own name. So for example, if an assistant was to send a mass email, that mass email would appear that it's going out from the agent. Another example is the other thing is that assistants cannot have leads assigned to them. So if a lead comes into the system and you click the drop down to assign the lead, you would not see any assistant names in that drop down. Other than that, there's a few little differences in the settings area of the program, and that's the main difference right there. So to set up an assistant, just click Add Assistant here in the bottom left-hand corner, fill out all of the information, and save it there. Okay, so I'm going to click on Next here to proceed to step 4. And this is the final step of the setup wizard. Now, of course, it's very important to get your contacts into your contact relationship manager to get started, so you can begin with following up with people. Now, you can import contacts from a CSV file. CSV is short for comma separated values, and you can export those type of files from most programs. Will allow you to export to CSV. Now, we're not going to be covering data import during this session here, as there's lots of different export options for CSV files, and the process is rather unique depending where you're getting your data from. So we do offer a full service data conversion solution here. If you call our customer care team, they'll be able to help you with importing your file. Either they'll walk you through the process of matching up your fields and importing the file, or if some work needs to be done on the file first, they'll assist with getting that sent into our team here, where we will convert that for you. Now, in addition to importing, we also offer sync options, both with Google and with Outlook, and you're able to synchronize your contacts and your calendar between these two programs. So you can set up either one of those right here. Again, if you need any help with setting that up, I recommend you call our customer care team, because one thing that can also happen is you might run into duplication of contacts, and we want to avoid that. So if you call into customer care, they'll be able to check everything for you and help you set it up so everything is working seamlessly. Okay, so now that we've taken a look at that, I'm going to click on Done here at the very bottom. That's going to take us back to the home page of Top Producer. So we're done the setup wizard, but we're not done with the complete setup process yet. The final thing we need to do is to set up for all our leads to funnel into Top Producer. Now, before I show you those steps, I just want to mention for those of you that might be subscribed to 5 Street that you won't need to set up your leads to funnel into Top Producer directly, as your leads will funnel into 5 Street and you'll connect your 5 Street account to Top Producer. For those of you not familiar with what 5 Street is FiveStreet is a lead aggregation system where you can funnel all your leads into it, and it does offer a couple of benefits beyond what Top Producer offers for lead follow-up, in that it has a SMS text message autoresponder to new leads, as well as it has some additional lead reporting features. And also for teams, if you're on a team, it offers more advanced like lead routing options. So if you have FiveStreet, again, you won't want to follow these next steps. You'll want to call customer care after, and they'll help you with the quick, easy integration of FiveStreet and Top Producer. Now, those of you that don't have FiveStreet, please watch these next steps here, as this is how you will set up your leads to funnel into Top Producer. So our very first step is we need to go to our name in the top right-hand corner and to click on Settings. So I'm going to click on Settings here. And that's going to open up to the General tab of Settings. So I want everyone to find General first here on the left-hand side, top tab. Once you found General, if you scan a few over to the right, you want to then click on Contacts. Okay, so I'm going to click the Contacts tab here. And on this screen here, it's going to default to the My Leads tab. And it's got some instructions here. It says get all your leads in one place. And everyone's going to see a unique email address on your screen. So everyone's given their own email, which consists of their Top Producer username at myleads.io. So in my case, my username for Top Producer is sheared6. So I have sheared6 at myleads.io. And how this works is that this email address is used so that you can copy it and place it into all of your lead providers' control panels, into the profile of where your lead provider is emailing the leads to you. So instead of emailing the leads to your regular email, you have them emailed to this myleads.io address, so our system can receive the lead, parse the information in the email, and create a lead record for you automatically without you having to do anything. So to set this up, we just simply have to start by copying the email. I can do that a couple of ways. One is I can highlight the address like so, and then I can right-click on it and choose Copy. That's one way. Or you should see a copy button to the right of the email. Or like in my case, you might see a little puzzle piece. If you have the puzzle piece, just simply click on it, and you're just going to have to click Allow at the top here where it asks you to allow or block, and then click on Continue. The screen will just do a quick little refresh here, and then you'll see the copy button. Now, if you left click on copy, that also will copy it to your computer's clipboard memory. Now, you won't see anything happen, but it does copy it. And just to demonstrate that, I'm just going to bring up my notepad here, and I'm just going to bring that over. And if I press Control V on my keyboard, I'm using a PC, that will paste in the address here, and we can see how it's in the computer's clipboard memory. So what you're doing is just simply logging into your lead provider control panel and pasting that into the proper field of where your lead provider is going to send your leads. Okay, so I'm going to minimize my notepad here. So I just want to talk about setting this up with Zillow really quick here. With Zillow, again, you would copy this address, log into Zillow, find the field where Zillow's emailing you leads and paste in the address and save it. Zillow is going to take an extra step of sending you a verification link you'll need to click on to that myleads.io email. Now, you're not able to check the mailbox for the myleads.io email directly, but what we do is any email that goes to your myleads.io address that isn't an actual lead will get forwarded to the email address you put in on step 1 of the setup wizard we just went through a few minutes ago. Now, if you set up this a little while ago, and if you don't remember what address you put in there, I'm going to show you next how you can go in and find that email address in the My Account section. So to do that, we go to our name in the top right-hand corner, and we click on My Account. Now, in this case, I'm going to right-click My Account and choose to open it in a new tab because I don't want to leave where I'm at right now. So I'm going to click Open Link in New Tab, and in the top left-hand corner of my Google Chrome browser, you'll notice I have 2 tabs. I have Contact Settings, and I have My Account. Okay, so I'm going to click on the My Account tab. It's going to take me into that My Account section. Now, when I'm done with this, I can just simply click the X on this tab to return back to Contact Settings and carry on with what I was doing there. So I'm going to now scroll down. It's about halfway down the page, and we'll find it. Here's Emails, and here's where I've got that jason.sheared@move.com address. So this is the address where any non-lead emails that go to my myleads.io address will forward here, including the email that Zillow would send with the verification link. So I would need to go to the mailbox where I know I'm receiving that mail, find that verification link Zillow sent me, click it, and that will confirm for Zillow I can receive email there. And at that part, you're all said and done. So at that point, your Zillow leads will flow directly into Top Producer. Okay, so now I'm going to click the X on this tab again, just to go back to where I was. And now that we set up the lead integration, one final thing that's important we need to do is to make sure that you still get an alert when you get a new lead, because you're no longer getting the emails as they're now getting sent directly into Top Producer. So to set up lead alerts, it's on the same contacts tab here. We go to lead alerts. It's the middle sub tab right here. And this is rather straightforward. The very first option here will say send notification for new leads. And we just want to turn this from a no to a yes. So I click there and I click yes. And if you do see the option right below, some of you might have it, some of you might not. It's if you have more than one agent license, then you'll see the send notifications when leads are assigned to me. So if someone manually assigns a lead to you, it would also trigger an alert. So if you see the option, I would recommend clicking yes. And then finally, we just simply fill out like your wireless carrier and your cell phone number. So we would just go in here and select your wireless carrier, enter in your 10-digit cell phone number. Another option is you can also be alerted by email. Now, if you're only going to do one or the other, like text or email, I'd recommend that you set up the text notification, as typically text messages will arrive faster than an email will. And when you get a lead alert, you really want every competitive edge you can get to respond to those leads as fast as you can. One of the stats I'll give you right now that I'll also talk about later when we look at sales pipeline is that if you call a new lead within 5 minutes of receiving them, you have a 21 times greater chance of qualifying them than if you call in the next 25 minutes. So speed is of the essence when you're following up with leads, and so you want to be alerted as soon as possible. Now, once you fill this information in, just simply click Save Lead Settings down here at the very bottom, and that's it, and you're done. Now, I'm going to be going to cancel because I'm not saving anything in here, but if you're following along, just make sure that you go to Save Lead Settings. And that right there, everyone, is the complete setup process. So we are done setting up Top Producer at this point. So I'm going to move my screen. And what we're going to be talking about next is Top Producer Mobile, which is a quick, light version of the program. And really, Top Producer Mobile has everything in it for you to start getting the most value out of Top Producer right away, including the follow-up coach and the sales pipeline, which will be the two key features we're going to be focusing on. But first, we're going to go through the setup process on how to create an icon for your phone. And I'll show you the steps both on iPhone as well as on an Android device on how to get that Top Producer icon onto your phone so you have quick and easy access to that mobile app. Now, please note that there is no app to download from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. This is a web app, so I'll be demonstrating how you can set that up on your phone. So the first thing you need to do is on your phone, you need to open your browser. So on an iPhone, that would be Safari, and you would go to the address on the left side of my screen here, so tpcrm.com. Another alternative is you can also type an M for mobile first. So if you go to m.tpcrm.com, that will also take you to the mobile version. Okay, so I'm going to bring over my live iPhone here so I can show you how to set this up. Okay, so there's my phone. Now, as you can see, I'll swipe the screens here. This is an actual live iPhone. Okay, and I'm going to create the shortcut for Top Producer on the iPhone here, and I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. So step number one is I need to open Safari. So I'm going to go into my Safari browser. And then up top at the very top here where it says search or enter website name, that's where I tap in there, and then I type in tpcrm.com. And then click go down here at the bottom. Okay, it's going to ask you for your username and your password, so you'd enter that information. And then I do recommend you check this Remember Me option right here so that you don't have to be putting in your username and your password each time, but you'll be able to click the shortcut and get right into Top Producer. Once you check that, just click on Sign In right here, and that'll take you to the 6 colored tiles. We can see that behind here. Here's the 6 colored tiles. So now that we're in Top Producer, we're going to create the shortcut. If you're on an iPhone, you need to find the menu bar down at the very bottom here. And if you don't see it, because if I scroll down on the page, you can see the menu bar gets hidden. I might have to pull down to scroll up, and then the menu bar should become visible. And what you want to do is click on this little middle icon here of the little box with an up arrow pointing out of it there. And that'll open up this menu here. And then you want to click on Add to Home Screen that we see in the lower right corner of this menu. Okay, so I click Add to Home Screen. It's going to come up showing me the icon as well as it'll say Top Producer. If you wanted to rename it, you can. And then we just simply click Add here in the upper right corner, and that's going to create the shortcut. And it throws me back to the home screen there. And here's the shortcut right here. So what I recommend you do next would be to take this icon and dock it down here on your main toolbar next to where you'd have like your phone dialer and your messaging app, right? And the reason for that is when you're using Top Producer to follow up with new leads, like I mentioned earlier, speed is of the essence. You want to be calling those leads within 5 minutes, and you want to be making those phone calls through Top Producer to be logging all those actions instead of using your regular phone dialer. So what I would suggest is having that handy, so no matter what screen you're looking at on the iPhone, you're always having Top Producer down there so you have quick access to it. So to do that, we just simply do a long press on the shortcut. Everything will start to jiggle a little bit there, and then I can just drag it down and put it where I want here. And then I would simply click the main home button on the iPhone down here at the bottom, and that will stop everything from moving. And there we go, we've got our shortcut. So now, if I move to any other app screen here, we can see that the Top Producer icon always remains visible at all times. So that's how we create the shortcut on an iPhone. Next, I'm going to show you the steps on an Android device, which is very similar. So move my phone out of the way here. And this here is a screenshot of an Android device. We can see the Android menu down here at the bottom. And this is using the Google Chrome browser on an Android device. So I'd recommend you do go to the Google Play Store if you haven't already and download Google Chrome, as it'll give you the most consistent experience. There's lots of different Android devices. So whether you're using like a Samsung or an LG device or whatever it is, you can download Google Chrome and use it there. Now you can use a stock browser as well, and it should work. But again, to get the most consistent experience, I would download Chrome. And this steps here is just showing the Chrome browser. So if you're using a stock browser, it may look a little different than my screens here. So in Chrome on your phone, just simply click the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner here, which will expand the menu. And then click on Add to Home Screen. And as you can see, this is very similar to the process we just went through on the iPhone. Once you click Add to Home Screen, it'll show the little shortcut. It lets you rename the shortcut if you want, and then you can click Add right here. And that will then put the icon onto one of your home screens here. And just like I showed you on the iPhone, if you do a long press on the icon, you'll be able to hold it and drag it down to your main toolbar so it appears down here at all times. So that's what I would do right there. So that's how we set up the icon both on an iPhone and an Android device. If you need any assistance at all with that, please do give our customer care team a call. They'd be happy to help you with that, and I'll be putting up their contact information at the end of this session here. Okay, so I'm going to bring my iPhone back over here. And for the rest of the session, we're going to be looking at Top Producer Mobile. So I'm going to click my Top Producer shortcut down here in the very bottom. And it takes me back into the main page with the 6 colored tiles. So the final things that we have on our agenda to talk about here today are follow-up coach and sales pipeline. I'm going to start with follow-up coach. So at the beginning of the session, I talked about the importance of following up with your past clients and your sphere over the long period of time. It's 5 to 15 years, right, before people usually move again, to stay top of mind, to increase that repeat and referral business, right? But that can be a challenge without software tools like Top Producer when you have a lot of contacts and being a busy realtor. So when you're out at showings or showing people properties or getting contracts signed, where do you find the time to follow up with your past clients in your sphere, right? And when you do start, if you have a couple hundred contacts or more in your database, where do you start? The top of the list, right? And work your way through, and do you get through that full list? So Top Producer makes it very manageable and easy to fit within time that you have in the day with this follow-up coach. So if I click follow-up coach right here by tapping on it, what it does is it gives me 5 contacts to follow up with every day. So I've got people like Dan Willard here, who's a past client. I've actually even popped up in my follow-up coach here as a past listing client. And I've got John Graham and so forth here. So your past clients and sphere will bubble up into your follow-up coach. Now by default, your past clients will bubble up about once every 4 months, and or it could be sooner, and your sphere contacts will bubble up once every 6 months or twice a year. Now you can adjust those settings as well in the desktop version of the follow-up coach, but those default settings are rather good. Just again, making sure that you're relatively staying in touch, 3 times a year with a past client, so that, in that 5, 10, 15 year cycle comes up, you're top of mind, again, to increase that repeat referral business. Now, following up with someone in here is very easy. So like Dan right here, if I wanted to give him a call, I just simply click on take action. It gives me choices based upon the contact information in his record. So I can click on call here, and it comes up with my phone dialer on my iPhone. So I could actually click call, make the phone call, talk to Dan. I'm going to click cancel though, because I don't actually want to dial that number. And it'll ask you if the call was successful, so it can log it with this wrap-up feature. So I click on yes. It gives me the opportunity if I need to add a note, and I can put in some notes about what I talked about with Dan. And then I can go to schedule follow-up. And if I click yes there, I can either have a follow-up call or an appointment, and then I can put in a description and date. Now, once I'm done filling all this in, I just simply click on save. That'll wrap up Dan, and then I've just got 4 more contacts to go. So say with John right here, let's say, it's been a little while since I've talked to him. Maybe it isn't 22 days ago like it says on my screen here. Let's say it was a couple years ago, right? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, that could be a little bit awkward, picking up the phone if it's been so long since I've reached out. So what we do offer are some email templates, which there's one in particular. It's good for a situation where it's been a long time since you've reached out to someone, and it's good for reconnecting. So with John, I'm going to click take action, and then I would click on email right here in the middle, and you're going to see these follow-up coach quick response email templates. And there's lots of good ones to look through. Definitely recommend going through and checking these out. The one I do want to show you right now, though, is the General Reconnect. So if you click on General Reconnect, it's good. Your phone may ask you to allow using the template, because what it's actually going to do is it's going to take the template and put it into your native email app on your phone. So on my phone, I've actually got Gmail installed, the Gmail app out of the Play Store. So I'm going to click on allow, and Top Producer inserts this personalized copy into my Gmail application on my phone, and it inserted the email address, the subject, and the body here. And the subject just says it's been a while, and it says, hi John, which this is great because this is personalized, right? It's using merge codes here to merge that information in. And then it says, I just wanted to send you a quick message to say hello, see how things are going. It's been a while since we last touched base, so if you have any questions on the real estate market, don't hesitate to give me a call or send me an email. I hope this note finds you well. And then, of course, you can have your email signature set up in your email app, and then you'd be able to click send. So this would literally just take seconds because you've already got this pre-composed template. you'd be able to insert it in. And if you wanted to customize it a bit further, you could. You don't have to though. And then you'd be able to hit send. So very, very fast for following up. Now I don't want to send this out, so I'm just going to click cancel here. But if you did, you just click send. This, again, the Gmail screen, not Top Producer, but this is Gmail here I'm in. So click cancel. Just delete that draft there. But after the email goes out, then we can record that that happened in Top Producer. So I've got this yes option checked. And again, just like when I did the follow-up with Dan there, I can add a note regarding the email I sent, schedule a follow-up if I want, and then I can click on save. Okay, so we can see that Dan and John are now completed, and I've just got 3 more to go, right? So this is a great tool, that you have that you can use on a daily basis, right? And, as you can see, it's very quick and easy to complete a couple of quick phone calls or send off a few quick emails using this tool, right? So, if you're when you're standing in line, at the coffee shop, you can pull your phone out of your pocket, and complete 5 quick follow-ups. Or if you're at an open house and perhaps no one's coming in at the moment, right? Well, you can pull open your laptop or you pull out your smartphone and complete 5 quick follow-ups. And if you do that every day, it really does add up, right? So, if you did 5 every day, it's about 25 each week. It's about 100 in a month. Or a year of using Top Producer, it's 1,200 follow-ups with your contacts in your database, right? So just think about what that would do for your business, helping you stay top of mind to win that repeat referral business that's so important. So that's the follow-up coach. I'm just going to scroll down here to get back to the main screen. You just simply have to click the Top Producer logo here in the very top middle, and that's going to take you back. And then the final thing I'm going to be talking about today is the sales pipeline feature. So to access a sales pipeline, simply click on that tile in the bottom left-hand corner here, and you're going to see these statuses across the top of it here. Now, sales pipeline is great for showing you a high-level, top-down view of your contacts in your database and where they're at in the sales cycle. So I'm going to start by giving you a brief description and scenario for each of the different statuses and when you're going to use them. So the new status here we can see at first is for new leads that you've received that you have not yet contacted. So remember earlier I mentioned that stat of, if you call leads within the first 5 minutes, you have a 21 times greater chance of qualifying them than if you call in the next 25 minutes. So with leads, it's important to call them very, very quickly for the best chance of connecting. And during that time, they're going to show in this new status. So the goal would be, not having anyone under new for more than about 5 minutes. Now, once you call someone, and whether you get their voicemail or you reach them, we're looking at the engaged status here. Now, engaged means that you have followed up with them, but you have not yet qualified them. So you haven't had the opportunity to really go through and find out how it is you can help. Now, it could be if you did reach them on the phone, maybe they just said, I'd love to talk, but I don't have time right now. Can you call me back? And they give you a time that works better for them. During that period of time, they'd be in the engaged status. So whether that happens or you've left a voicemail and you're trying to connect again later that day or the next day, that would be where the engaged status comes in. Now, once you have connected with them and you have qualified them and identified, is this a near-term or long-term opportunity, that's where the fork in the road is as to whether they go to future or active. And active we see right here. So if you do talk to them and they say, well, I need to get my home on the market, and you're going to be doing a CMA and scheduling to do like a listing presentation, that would be a near-term opportunity. They'd be set to active. Or maybe it's a buyer. They want to look at a property, or they're maybe a first-time home buyer. They want to start touring properties. Whatever the situation is, whether they're buyer or seller, anyone that's a near-term opportunity would go under active. But of course, that call, that lead could go another way as well, right? So oftentimes consumers are starting their search like 6 to 18 months before they're ready to transact. So maybe it's someone who's just doing some preliminary research and they just have some questions, and they ask you a couple of questions, but they say, I'm not ready to do anything right now. So that would be a future opportunity because you want to assist them with whatever their immediate question is, but you don't want to just end it there, right? in a year or so, you want them to call you back and not another realtor when they're ready to transact. So that's where future would be. Now, we don't see future on this screen here. You only see it on the desktop version of Top Producer. And that's because with Top Producer Mobile, it's all about having what you need right now at your fingertips. And future contacts are more of those long-term opportunities you'd be working. So not something you necessarily need in the palm of your hand. Now, the final status here is for closed. And this is where your past clients would go. So once you've closed any transactions, you would move people over into the closed status right here. Now, I do just want to take a look under the new tab that I'm on here. You can see I've got John Byer. He's a test lead that just come in here. And if I tap on John, we can see at the very top we have a timer ticking away here. Right? It's been just over 4 minutes since I've received him as a lead. And that stat that I've given you earlier, you can see is right here on the screen, telling me that I have 21 times odds of qualifying a lead, contacts made in the first 5 minutes versus next 25 minutes. And to help me achieve that goal, I've got the timer here so I can keep measurement of what my response time is on my leads. Now, if John's provided a phone number or email, we're going to have those icons just here under next steps. So he did provide a phone number, so I have a phone icon and an SMS icon to text him. And I've got a little email envelope here because he provided his email as well. Now, if he's provided his phone number, then definitely I'd want to give him a call. So I'd click on the little phone icon right here. Just like with Follow-Up Coach earlier, we can see it's come up on my iPhone dialer, giving me the choice to call the number. We're just going to pretend I did. I'm going to hit cancel here. And then the wrap-up comes up, just like on Follow-Up Coach like we saw earlier. And it's going to ask, was the call successful? So I'm going to click yes here, but I want you all to watch very carefully. Just underneath, a little animation is going to occur, and I just want you to watch and see what's going to happen. And then we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to click on yes. Okay, it happened kind of quick, but it started off on new, right? And it slid over to engage, right? And why is that, right? So I said yes that the call was successful, so Top Producer knows I made the call, right? But what Top Producer doesn't know is, did I actually, speak with John? Did I qualify him? Did I identify if he's a future or active opportunity, right? So, if I did, I need to manually set it over to one of these statuses over here on the side, right? If I just got John's voicemail or he said, I want to talk later, I'd leave it as engage, right? But let's say, John needs to get his home on the market, then I could set him to active here. Okay, and then I can add a note. So if I click yes here, this allows me to record some notes regarding the phone call. And if I tap in here, iPhones and most Android phones, these days will have a little microphone icon on the keyboard, so you could even voice dictate your note in here if you wanted to. So that's a nice feature as well. That'll be a feature of your phone, allow you to input a note by voice. And then we can schedule follow-up, so I can click yes here. And then you can choose the type of follow-up. So let's say, it's a listing presentation. I'm going to be scheduling for John here. The description, instead of just saying follow-up then, I could actually type in listing presentation or be more detailed with the type of follow-up that I'm doing. So I got listing presentation. I can schedule when that's going to occur on my calendar. So let's say it was going to be Saturday. Okay, so we have the time. We click on save. And now John is wrapped up. And his status is moved over to active. So if I want to go back to check, I can click this little arrow here in the top left-hand corner. And you can see, John no longer shows here as new. But if I go to my active tab, which has 8 people in it here, I can see John Byer right here. So he's showing up as active. He's been moved over to there. And that's how we use the sales pipeline feature on Top Producer Mobile. Again, to get back to the main screen, I just simply have to pull down on the screen to reveal the Top Producer shortcut here at the very top. Click on Top Producer, and that takes me back to the main screen. Okay, I'm going to move my phone out of the way here. And what we're going to talk about is what's next after this. So what we have is a next steps training session that you can register for where we talk about how to check for and merge duplicate contact records. And then we look at how to automatically apply a simple lead conversion plan to new leads. So in this session, I taught you how, calling leads quickly within the first 5 minutes is very important for that 21 times greater chance of qualifying them. But the next challenge is with following up frequently over the first 7 days of receiving the lead for the best chance of converting them. And so this next step session goes through how Top Producer helps with that with a simple lead conversion plan and having that auto apply to all your new incoming leads. Then we'll look at how to manually add contacts, and we cover a lot of best practices and things to watch for, like how to add birthdays or home anniversary dates to your contacts. And then we look at how to add listing and closing records, as well as how to import listings from your MLS system in a Top Producer. So in this session, we saw how to set up MLS connectivity, but that next step session will show you how to actually do the import. And just to recap what we talked about today, I showed you how Top Producer helps in today's industry. We looked at how to set up Top Producer using the very simple setup wizard on the desktop version. And we talked about what Top Producer Mobile is. We got it set up with the app shortcut, showed you how to do that on an iPhone and an Android. And then we really focused on the 2 key features of Top Producer, which is the follow-up coach for following up with your past clients in Sphere to help increase that repeat and referral business, and the sales pipeline, which is a great way for managing your leads through the sales cycle and really assists with helping you contact leads quickly. I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to attend this training session here today. Now, if you have any questions or need any help, our customer care team is available 6 days a week from Monday through Saturday from 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Pacific time at 1-800-830-8300. As well, we have email and chat support available 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Pacific time. And our chat support's available in the bottom right corner of the Top Producer CRM program. You'll find a chat option there you can click on and get help. And our email address is support@topproducer.com. Now, you're also able to find self-help articles and video tutorials 24 hours a day at the URL at the bottom of my screen, which is topproducer.com/campus. And if anyone has any comments or feedback on this session, please email that to training@topproducer.com. And again, my name's Jason Sheard. It's been a pleasure helping you all today. I hope to see you one of our future webinars. Have a great day. Take care, everyone.